All hits all the time.
We are family.
Xers are double-digit Ks.
We're busting ours to kick yours.
Fun to watch.
Minus 15.
Respect all, fear none.
Into the upper deck.
Intensity is not a
Oh, mercy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome into MASN All Access from the MASN Newsroom. I'm your host, Paul Mancano, on this Tuesday afternoon. Hopefully baseball is around the corner, but in the meantime, we're here to entertain you, and we are joined today by a recent Orioles draft pick, second rounder Hudson Haskin out of Tulane, an outfielder who joins us now live and is here to take my questions and your questions as well as we go along. So keep those questions coming on Facebook and YouTube. Hudson, thanks so much for joining us here live on MASN All Access.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So what have the past couple weeks been like since you were taken in the second round by the Orioles?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, kind of a whirlwind. I'm down here in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, just working out and trying to stay busy around the house. So things have started to die down a little bit, but it's been, my phone has been blowing up ever since I got picked. So it's been cool to get all types of support from different people.
I can imagine. Now let's go back to your high school days before we get into your days at Tulane, because you played at the same high school that George Springer did in Connecticut, and that's Avon Old Farms. But George Springer was a whole lot smaller than you when he was a freshman in high school, correct?
Yeah, he was. I keep telling this story, but my first day at Avon, we have these things called chapel talks every Tuesday and Thursday. And a faculty member or student will come up and give kind of inspirational speech about something important that happened to them or some advice that they want to give students. And the baseball coach was speaking on that first day just randomly, and he talked about 5 Avon baseball players and their development over their time at Avon and then in college and so on. So George Springer was one of those guys, and he came to Avon. He was like a 5'1", 110 pounds, and I was at that time like 5'7", 135. So ever since that day, I was like, okay, I've got 6 inches and 25 pounds on him. So that was my mindset. Like, if somebody's been successful in my shoes, there's no reason why I couldn't be.
Yep, and now he is a whole lot bigger than that, and of course very successful with the Houston Astros. But has he been somebody that you kind of look up to? Obviously a few years older, but somebody who's was taken by the Astros in the MLB draft and had a whole lot of success in the big leagues?
Yeah, 100%. He's been someone that I've always looked up to, used as a benchmark to, set goals and kind of keep myself on pace. He's such an exciting player to watch too. So, I always watch his highlights, and he plays with so much energy and spirit. It's pretty cool. That's something that I try and take into my game as well. So
then you move on to Tulane and you hit in the 370s in your one full season at Tulane as a freshman. People have noted that you have a little bit of a quirky swing. Tell us about how you kind of developed that swing and where it comes from.
Yeah, it's been something that's evolved over time. I think as I get older, I have more ownership of it and, kind of a knowledge of like what works for me. And what I've, gotten to that point, and I think that's what has been able to make me successful, is just knowing that obviously you're trying to make adjustments, but everybody has things that work for them and some things don't work for them. So it's just a matter of kind of picking everybody's brain and getting information from different people and trying to make that into your best swing, what works for you. So.
And of course, that swing had great success, not just at Tulane, but over the summer as well with wood bats in the New England Collegiate Baseball League as well. You hit over 300 there. Do you think it was important to show scouts at that point that you could hit with wood bats as well as metal?
Yeah, I think that was important. It's great. I think summer ball is really important because it changes the atmosphere that you're at. Your pregame routines, all that type of stuff is different. And it's a little bit more of an individual game in some senses. It's, obviously you're trying to win games. That's always what you're trying to do, but it's not the same like camaraderie and team stuff like college. So it was a little bit of an adjustment in that respect, but I played for the Newport Gulls, and that was an awesome area. I had an awesome experience. The people there are first class, and really made some strong relationships with some of my teammates too. So couldn't say enough positive things about that.
Well, you mentioned the camaraderie that you get in college ball. Was that something that you really enjoyed in your full season at Tulane and the beginning of the 2020 season as well, having that team atmosphere?
Yeah, it was great. I've made some really great friendships at Tulane. There have been some people in my time there that have been, really influential in my life. And then having the opportunity to play with my brother there has been a dream come true and something that I don't take for granted. That was really cool. So, yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about baseball. I feel like I've been playing for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years, 16 years, and I've made so many relationships along the way, so many people that I still keep in touch with to this day. So it's been cool to kind of see how you get shaped by those different environments that you're put in.
And you mentioned your brother Parker just now. He's a year younger than you. You overlapped, obviously, in high school and got to play together there. And then he followed you to Tulane as well. He's a catcher. How great has it been to be able to overlap with him on the baseball diamond and get to play with your brother?
Yeah, it's been awesome. He's my best friend, so being able to go through everything we went through coming up, trying to get recruited, and then to actually end up at the same spot and play together is pretty cool. I think he knows me almost better than I know myself. So whenever I'm struggling or not feeling good at the plate, or just in general, if I'm just not having a good day, he kind of knows how to get to me and just turn things around. So I'm really lucky to have him in my life.
And he's a catcher, as mentioned. Has he taught you a little bit about maybe being an emergency backstop at some point? We know you're an outfielder by trade, but is that something that in an emergency situation you could grab a mask and get behind the plate?
I don't know. It's pretty tough back there. I got to give him a lot of credit. I don't think I could do nearly as well as he could back there. So maybe if extenuating circumstances, I'd have to go to him for some help.
Yeah, sounds good. A little easier on your knees being in the outfield as opposed to behind the plate. He played in 4 games at Tulane this past spring. Obviously, he couldn't have the full season together, but he had some success. He started one of those 4 games as a freshman, and he had an RBI double in his first collegiate game. How great was it to see him succeed and get off to a great start in his collegiate career?
It was awesome. I've said this a couple times, but seeing him do well is, seeing him get that first collegiate hit, and he had a bases clearing triple too down the line, which was pretty sweet. But like the amount of emotion that I felt in those at bats are way more than anything I've ever experienced playing myself. So that's been really cool. And yeah, he was able to have some success this year. He hit 430. So he's been giving me some grief recently that he had a higher average than me. But yeah, he's a really talented kid. I think as he gets older and gets more opportunities, he's going to be really successful too. So,
I mean, I'm pretty sure you hit 333 in the shortened season as well, and you hit in the 370s last season as well. So you can come back with him with sample size there. I think.
Everything's a competition though, so I mean, I got to give that one to him. The numbers.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Well, we are taking fan questions as well as we are live on Facebook and YouTube. This one coming from Kathy. It's a question about seafood. Obviously, you grew up in New York City, but how much do you know about seafood, Baltimore crabs in particular, and the seafood that you could get in Baltimore? Yeah,
to be honest, I'm not really a huge seafood guy, but since getting drafted by the Orioles, a lot of people have been telling me about the great seafood in Baltimore. So I got an open mind. I'm ready to try it and give it a go.
Sounds good. Yeah, be prepared to have some oysters. When I first moved to Baltimore, that was a big step for me. And then you got to learn how to eat a crab, which is, of course, the most important thing. So you've got plenty of time there, Hudson. More questions that we're getting from fans as well, asking about your current favorite Oriole. And I want to know also about previous Orioles, because you grew up a little bit as a Yankees fan, but as a baseball fan in general. And you remember watching the Orioles growing up, correct?
Yeah, for sure. I was a Yankees fan growing up, but more so I was just a big baseball fan. I was always glued to the TV watching MLB Network and reading almanacs and that type of thing in class. So I would say for my favorite Oriole growing up, that'd probably be Adam Jones. I just love the way he played, that swagger, and he was pretty, fun to watch in the outfield. I think currently, I like Austin Hayes. I mean, that catch that he made in right center field is pretty cool. So he seems like another exciting player.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's current favorite Oriole as well. Austin Hayes will certainly like to hear that as well. Playing the same position in center, you played all over the outfield as well when you were at Tulane, but mostly in center. Is center your favorite position, and do you hope to stick there as you begin your pro career?
Yeah, I'm definitely most comfortable in center. That's my favorite spot, but at the end of the day, wherever coach tells you to play is where I'm going to go. So I'm comfortable in all three outfield spots.
Nice. Do you think your speed helps you in center as well?
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's definitely one of my biggest strengths. So you have a little bit more room to use that out in center as opposed to the corners.
Nice. And you had 4 stolen bases as a freshman at Tulane, and then you had 17 over the summer. How come you had that huge jump over the summer? Was it just you were given more freedom to run, or you just took advantage of the situation? What caused that major jump in stolen bases?
Yeah, we didn't run much at Tulane, not really part of our offense. So, you can't steal bases if the coach doesn't give you the sign. But this summer I had the green light and I had a lot more opportunities. So that's a really big part of my game, and I look forward to kind of being able to get that back in there again.
Nice. And your brother Parker is a catcher, but I saw he had a triple in one of those 4 games at Tulane as a freshman. Does speed run in the family?
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, you can't.
So it's just you that has the speed?
Yeah, it's just me.
That's fair. That's fair. So more questions for you. Do you have a favorite MLB player watching growing up who's not an Oriole, maybe somebody that you modeled your game after as you were growing up playing baseball?
Yeah, my favorite player growing up was Brett Gardner. I was always a little bit undersized, and I loved just the way he played the game, and I used to wear my pants up like him. Yeah, so I've tried to, I think every baseball player tries to pick different things out from all types of players across the league, but I think Brett Gardner kind of embodies what it means to be a baseball player and how he carries himself, how he hustles and does the little things right. So that's something I've tried to take.
Absolutely. We're taking more fan questions as well on Facebook and YouTube as we're here with Hudson Haskin. One question coming from an Orioles fan, Chris. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Do you have an answer for that?
Anything with peanut butter in it. Huge
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite type of food? You mentioned seafood's not your favorite.
I like Italian food, but really anything you put in front of me, I'll eat. So not too picky.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, we're taking more questions as well, and one coming from Baldy McBaldy, which is maybe the strangest name I've ever seen on Facebook. What was your choice of major when you were at Tulane?
I majored in management, and I had a minor in legal studies.
Okay.
So yeah, those are just 2 things that really interest me. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do after baseball, but I think that having a management degree is applicable to a lot of different areas, so that's why I chose it.
Gotcha. And how have you been spending your time as we wait for baseball to come back? Obviously, you have the shortened spring at Tulane, but have you had an opportunity to work out, stay in shape during this time off?
Yeah, I have been. I've been working out every day, hitting every day. Anthony Servideo actually lives about 10 minutes from me, so we've been doing all that stuff together.
Nice.
I took a managerial accounting class that just finished a week ago. So that was pretty tough, but yeah, I've just been trying to stay busy and most importantly, just be in the best shape possible for whenever baseball does come back again.
Well, Servidio's an Ole Miss guy, an infielder, of course, taken in the same draft class. How did you meet Anthony?
I met him when my dad moved down to Florida. So we've been hitting together for probably 3 or 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been really cool to kind of grow that relationship with him, and to be able to be in the same draft class is also really cool because I'll have somebody that I'll play with along the way that we've got a pretty good history. So I'm excited.
Yeah, you were taken a little bit before Anthony, but were you excited